how does this impact India and China? Because this is a time when India and China are just trying to mend bridges after what's been happening for the last 4 years at the line of actual control. Will the US assert that India side with DC more openly? How does that impact the relationship between India and China over the next 4 years?
Look, as we were saying earlier, India is a bipartisan concern in the United States. There is a desire from all sides in Washington that India plays a more close strategic role alongside the US in the quote-unquote Indo-Pacific. But I think there's also an appreciation that India has its own existing way of doing things. It has its own kind of principles. And there's not much of a desire in Washington among serious people to challenge that. I would wonder, though, in the event that Trump does some kind of major diplomatic initiative with the Chinese, how that may compromise Indian interests, and whether Trump would be willing to compromise Indian interests in the event that he can score some major, in his mind, optical victory or triumph diplomatically with the Chinese. I think that's a more open question.
Do you think the prospects of a deal with China are more likely, or do you think the prospects of greater fragmentation are higher?
Both. I think we had a lot of Trump diplomatic effort with the Chinese in the first term. But that was a lot of sound and fury.
Incidentally, I mean, just on the question of a deal, I was talking to a British diplomat who'd worked, on US relations, and he said the thing about Trump is actually he's really quite a bad deal maker. So that their strategy was always to try to get the Prime Minister alone with Trump, because Trump had no interest in the detail. So his staff would fight really hard and be really tough. But once you had him alone with Trump, he didn't know the dossier, so he'd say, oh, yeah, all right, whatever. So that's the strategy. And I think she will be much better informed than Trump on the detail.
There's an add-on to this. There's also the tyranny of the last briefer. So whoever the last person is who has Trump's ear can sort of convince him and win him over on a range of issues, which is why he's flip-flopped on so many things, whether it's TikTok, maybe now in Ukraine. So that's the other challenge.